We're live!
Hello!
We are here for the Spanish GP review! And I'm going to tweet. So Steven's going to stall again.
The double header of Portimao and Catalonia has been completed with a back-to-back Mercedes wins. There was hope. There was hope for the Red Bull camp. They tried to not repeat history, but history did repeat itself in the end, and Mercedes came out top. So we're going to be doing our usual, running through all the teams, going through the big talking points, interacting with everyone in live chat that appears. And yes, and hopefully not getting too downbeat about the title hopes for Red Bull. There's hope, maybe. Maybe.
I tweet, have we got this issue again with live chat? It looks like we do. Looks like we do.
I haven't even got live chat up, so I can't.
That's all right. Look, we'll have to go on YouTube. Your channel. We're live right now. There you go. Hello, Simmer. Hello, Infinite. Hello, Duarte. Oh, Norris disappointing. Motorsport fanboy. Hello, Viandra. Hello, Gianni. Okay.
Hello,
cool.
everyone.
Hello, Carola.
Hope you're all having a good afternoon. It is the afternoon. Why did I have to think that?
Should we?
Monday afternoon, post-race.
Yeah, look, right. I know we have a review structure.
Yeah, but you want to chuck that out the window.
But do we go straight in with the key part of the race, which was the battle for the lead? Or do we work our way through quickly too?
I think as people are jumping in, we start.
Let's get the bits out that they don't care about.
Yeah.
Okay, and then save the bit that they do care about when we've got more people.
What people don't care about? Haas. Again, they finished last. Mick out-qualified Latifi, but they don't have any race pace. Finished last. Mick broke the 11 point on fantasy. Hearts were broken. But Haas, 18th, 19th, nothing eventful. Out the way. On to... let's go. Williams, 14th, 16th in the end for Russell and Latifi. Again, didn't do anything. Russell actually showed some race pace. He lost out because he was trying to do the bold one-stop strategy.
Hello, Katie in chat, and she's calling you out. Oi! Some of us care a bit about Haas.
Sorry. We're not talking anymore about Haas. Williams again. Russell, he looked decent, but I think they went bold on the one-stop. The one-stop didn't quite pay off, as we saw. One-stop didn't work for anyone, really. So Russell misses out on points yet again. Latifi did nothing, 16th. And round up the slow teams, Alfa Romeo. P12, P15 for Kimi and Gio.
Gio was unlucky, though. He got absolutely stuffed by such a strange thing. His mechanic brought out the tyres and realised just before they were about to put it on that it was a flat tyre.
Yeah. So kind of got unlucky. Very weird that a tyre would already be deflated before being put on the car. And then the fact that no one even spotted it. Although it's quite difficult to spot if it's in the blanket. So yeah, Gio was screwed by that. And then Kimi didn't get points again.
Simmer, actually, the Williams strategy was a bit of a masterstroke. Is that because...
Did they try to do the two-stop? He was right in the battle. And then Stroll and Alonso came together. Then there was a whole pack going for 10th. And it just seemed Russell missed out. I just presume that because his tyres were gone.
Latifi who's the worst paid driver in F1?
Nikita.
We didn't talk about him, didn't we? We just sped on.
Yeah.
Latifi, he's struggling at the moment, isn't he?
So is that any other comments on the slow teams?
4 faster cars behind Gio. Well, Alonso's one was really stuff. Sonoda obviously retired. Gio had that massive pit stop strategy, so that wasn't necessarily Russell smashing them. Are you counting as Mick Schumacher as a faster car?
No, I didn't see Russell beating anyone unusual there.
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah, he stayed ahead of Gio after the pit stop, so positive. He beat an Alfa Romeo. But yeah, I think they'll be disappointed to lose out on points at the end.
Just clocked infinite. Please don't talk about the worst pay F1 driver, Giovinazzi.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh, Gio. Let's have our part of the podcast. Giovinazzi.
No.
Qualified well, didn't he?
No. Are we done with the slow teams?
Okay, we're done with the slow teams. We're done.
So let's go to AlphaTauri. Yes, Gasly again. No race pace. 0 race pace. I thought AlphaTauri were going to finally have a good race. And yet again, they did absolutely nothing. Yuki obviously got unlucky with a mechanical issue, failure. And Gasly only scraped through to the top 10. Didn't he have an early incident? I'm trying to think. Was he one of the early stoppers? Did he?
No, I think he just went backwards.
Yeah.
And then worked his way back up.
Yeah.
Gasly's silly mistake at the start. There we go.
Yeah.
There we go. He got, no penalty, wasn't it? He was in the wrong place at the grid.
Yeah, that was it.
That was it. There we go. We remembered. Bam, bam, bam. Look at that in chat. They're not letting us get away with that one. 5-second penalty. 5-second penalty. Have another penalty. Penalty.
So to get 10th is okay, but I just want so much more from AlphaTauri.
And I suppose we learn more about, drivers because, Yuki Tsunoda has Tourette's.
Yeah, he does love to use the colourful language on the team radio.
Yuki, I don't know.
I just don't know.
I'm just really confused by him. How he was just like, oh, I'm so excited, and now he gets in the car and he's like, I hate everything.
Yeah. Well, he's not doing very
well. That's
well.
what F1 does to you.
It's not doing
That's
very
what
well.
F1 does to you.
Yeah.
Yuki just needs to shut up and drive, to be fair. Everyone loves him. But, he'll turn off a lot of that support if he keeps being a freaking idiot, I think is probably the fair assessment.
Probably, yeah.
But AlphaTauri, like you said, another disappointing weekend.
Yes. Let's go to Aston Martin, which we probably should have done before because they had a worse race than AlphaTauri. Because yet again, it's not yet again, they haven't scored points. Did they score points in Portimao? Actually, no, they didn't. So I am right. Yet again, Aston Martin failed to get in the top 10. Lance Stroll P11, Sebastian Vettel P13.
Stroll better than Vettel again.
Not
obviously last week. Vettel was the first time he beat
so you can't use again in that situation.
Well, he can do because through the season, I think it's 3-1 to Lance, isn't it?
Well, probably, yeah. Lance got unlucky. He probably should have got a point, but he collided with Alonso, whose tyres were just completely dropping off the cliff. And so they tangled. Lance Stroll then lost pace and then lost P10 to Pierre Gasly.
In fairness, I've got to say, though, the Aston Martins of Lance Stroll was involved in some of the best action within the race. That battle with Alonso was pretty good, especially through turn 1, and then the battle with Gasly as well. Obviously, Gasly came out on top. And that kind of Alonso train that created fighting into the points, so desperately just fighting for just one championship point.
Yeah.
But they were there. They were fighting for it. Every point matters. Alonso pushed Stroll really wide. Yeah, but that's racing.
It's a bit like Max on Lewis, which you'll come on to later
in the review.
So Aston Martin, we don't really want to dwell too much on their struggles. Sebastian Vettel, like again, he did nothing. He kind of was in a fight with Alonso and Gasly, but Catalonia is just difficult when you're in a DRS train to do anything. So that's Aston Martin. Although they were showing signs of improvement, a bit like Alpine, but Alpine did it better. Aston Martin kind of clawing back the deficit from the minor technical regs for this season. So on to Alpine. As mentioned, their upgrades are still doing very well. Go on the points again. Esteban Ocon.
Great qualifying performance.
Probably the best qualifying performance.
Yeah,
P5. Alpine in P5.
What I have to say, and this is coming from an Alonso fan, obviously, Esteban Ocon, up there with Lando Norris, I think has been one of the surprise performers of the season so far. I think he's been fantastic. Not surprised, because that sounds like we didn't expect Lando to do well. I suppose not expected Lando to do as well as what he's done against Ricciardo in the first 3 races.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll come on to McLaren as it goes on. But Ocon needed to step up. And I think I saw an interesting one of a tweet of, is Alonso performing worse than what we expected him to do? Or is Esteban Ocon just, performing better than we thought he would? And I think it's the latter.
Yeah.
I think it's Alonso, I think, is doing decent considering his return. Strategy, I think, was brought up by Viandra in chat. Hello, David. They haven't quite got the strategy right for Alonso in the race in Bahrain when he did really well. He unfortunately had to retire in the race. But Ocon, the car has been capable of the last 2 races getting in the points, and he's done it.
He's done it, yeah. Fantastic drive from him. He did go backwards, but he still held on to P9.
But I think he was always going to go backwards because the Ferraris and McLarens are better.
The race pace just isn't quite there with Alpine to maintain at the front of that midfield battle. But yeah, like you said, Alonso, they were going bold and doing the one stop, which evidently was never going to work for anyone to do the one stop. So yeah, that's why he ended up finishing P17. He didn't have a necessary bad race. They just risked it on the strategy, and then he was a victim of the wrong call.
Infinite. Alonso has fans still alive. I suppose most of them are not senior citizens. Or maybe in F1 terms, I'm considered a senior citizen, but no. He deserves fans. He's been one of the best drivers of the past 20 years. So it's great to see him back on the grid regardless. I think it's good for F1 still. But McLaren, is it next?
Yeah, let's do McLaren.
McLaren.
Daniel Ricciardo beating his teammate at last in a race.
It was all about Ricciardo today, wasn't
it? P6, yes. I think Ricciardo was on the 2-stop strategy. Norris was on the 1-stop strategy, I believe. Or did Norris pit late as well? Norris may have also pitted. But Norris came home in P8. Because I think Norris let Ricciardo pass.
Yeah, on the different
So it was like a return of team orders, which were used in Imola.
And I think what was really a good performance is, nice for the team to get that one under his belt. And it was reverse team orders, but I don't think Norris, fought it. He just understood it was team orders. Yeah. I don't even think he got team order through. I think he just let it by.
No, I believe it was team orders.
Okay. But finishing ahead of Sainz as well, very important for the constructors, because that fight for third in the constructors is really hot up between Ferrari and McLaren.
I think it's so ridiculous. Like, there's only 5 points between it. Let me double check. Actually, that may not be correct.
Gotta go eating. See you later. See you later, Gianni. Thanks for dropping by. Daniel getting up to speed. Absolutely.
Yes, there's only 5 points between third and fourth. And unlike last year, fifth isn't even in it.
Yeah, it literally is who's going to finish third or fourth.
Yeah.
In that aspect. That McLaren straight line speed is very good. Yep, absolutely, but that's because it's got a Mercedes engine.
McLaren engine.
I was going to say Mercedes engine in the back of it. So, yeah, that's good. And if Ricciardo's getting up to speed, I think that's only going to benefit McLaren, and it's going to be a really interesting team battle. I think we thought that was going to be one of the most interesting team battles of the season. So, yeah, a pretty good race for McLaren again as well.
Yeah, solid. But Ferrari, probably with the driver of the day, with Charles Leclerc in P4. Carlos Sainz finished a solid P7, but it was all about Leclerc for Ferrari. Just was in a race of his own. He held off Valtteri for the early stages. Then Ferrari decided to go long with Leclerc, which then gifted Bottas the overtake basically on the pit stops. So yeah, Charles Leclerc, it was just phenomenal. It was in a complete race of his own in P4.
I really hope that Ferrari sort their car out for next year and they're back competing for race wins, because I want to see Charles Leclerc competing at the top.
Yeah,
because the guy's incredible. I mean, I don't know why Ferrari didn't pit him to match Bottas.
Maybe they thought that was too.
And actually, well, yeah, I guess they were going, Bottas isn't our race, but why not?
Yeah.
Why not in that situation
Bottas
to kind of give
it past Charles?
Yeah.
Well, they did overtake him, didn't he, on the second one because Charles was going long?
No, he did. Bottas never overtook Charles on track.
Did he not?
No. It was in the technical undercut, but Leclerc just went really deep on it. But yeah, Charles was superb. Bottas again struggling to get past a car in dirty air. But I would say actually for the lead of the race, Ferrari not pitting Leclerc at the same point is probably the first big point. Well, not first bit, but in the middle section was a big moment in that fight for the lead, because if Bottas gets stuck behind Leclerc, that may change Red Bull's decision later on in the season.
Later in the season,
later in the race. Where it was going to be. Yeah. I think that's kind of under the radar gone as quite a big moment in strategy. I mean, Ferrari did fantastic just to get P4.
Yeah.
They were just worrying about P4. But if they'd been a bit bolder, P3 maybe would have been on the cards.
Possibly. They could have nicked a podium from Valtteri Bottas.
But yeah. Leclerc was never in a race with Bottas. He never was in a race for Bottas, but he was ahead of Bottas.
Yeah.
Bottas overtook Leclerc in the end with soft tyres. Oh, right at the end.
See,
hello, Johnny boy. Welcome into. So yeah, okay, he might have done that, but still, they were on different strategies. What I mean is, Leclerc probably would have pitted if they matched lap. It's the same aspect of Leclerc would have been a sitting duck at that stage.
Yeah.
For Bottas on the soft tyres.
Yeah.
It wasn't really going to be a two from there. Track position doesn't mean everything. No, it doesn't. And I guess that's why we'll come on to strategy as it comes on Infinite. But look, I understand that. But what I mean is, he still probably would have lost out to Bottas, but we know how awful Bottas is at overtaking. So if Leclerc had come out on the pit stop, there's every chance that he would have held up Bottas, even though Bottas probably would have come out podium-wise. He probably might have had a chance of still staying ahead of Valtteri, because, it was only about a month ago when Bottas was fighting a Williams. So, okay.
Ouch.
Right.
So let's move on to the final four. Let's start with Checo and P5. We haven't mentioned him at all. A bit like Charles Leclerc. Not like Charles Leclerc. Sorry, Charles Leclerc did fantastically. Checo got stuck behind Ricciardo for about half the race.
Yeah. So look, what I'm going to say with Checo here, yesterday was a bad day for Checo. All right. Yesterday was a bad day. The previous week was a good week for Checo.
Yep.
So he's having more consistent good weeks there. But did someone say he was injured at all?
He was feeling dizzy, I think, during qualifying.
Yeah, he wasn't with it in that aspect. Lost your camera, lads. Is it just me? Ooh, I hope not. It was just me. I've reloaded now. Okay. Cheers, Johnny. We were confused on that aspect. It was always going to be difficult after qualifying. Didn't make any positions at the start. It was a bad weekend. Don't agree with Red Bull saying that we need Checo up there more, because generally as a whole...
So what you said?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, the comments have started already.
I know. But like the first race, he had a good race because that was out of his control. And I'd say the third race in Portimao, he had a good race because he stayed out long. And although he was a sitting duck for Lewis Hamilton, he still was there to play.
He did what the team
strategy.
wanted, yeah.
Absolutely. Second race, he made mistakes in Imola. And fourth race, he just wasn't at the races.
Yeah. Just a bad... It all started when he span out in qualifying in Q3. Never could recover really from there. Ricciardo did fantastically to keep him behind, keep Checo behind. It was just going into the first corner every time. So agonizingly close. We had Crofty hyping it up every time. And Checo's gaining on Ricciardo, and just not enough.
He
about 20 times.
He just didn't find a balance with the car this weekend, did he?
No.
It just didn't fall into place. And ultimately, did that cost the strategy? Well, let's talk about the number twos. Let's talk about Bottas. So we've spoken about Bottas.
P3. Another podium.
Now, obviously, if we're talking about Valtteri Bottas as a title contender, he has had a horrendous season. He's been dreadful because he hasn't even competed for a race win. And don't give me the fact that he got pole in Portimao. Like, he never looked at any stage that he was going to win the Portimao GP. He never at any stage. But as the Mercedes number 2 driver, I know even if he fought Hamilton on track, where he was in position on track meant that he did his job as a number 2 driver, and he still finished third on the podium. And
he's now third in the overall standings.
Yep, he is. So he's doing his job.
He's the difference in the constructors' battle right now. Valtteri Bottas, the difference. Oh God, our phone's going. Jesus. Mazepin, driver of the day, in my opinion.
It's died.
Well,
there's phones everywhere.
We did all collectively. This one's going. What have you done? This one's going.
They won't shut up.
Just stop it. Just stop making the phones go. It's okay now. Jesus Christ. Answer the bloody phone.
Oh, that was freaking stressful. Oh, God. I don't even know. That was more stressful than making a strategy for Red Bull. Hello, Giorgio, Misty, and Sergio Rindle. Lewis know he can beat Max from second place, so he doesn't necessarily have to take risks. Absolutely. So, okay, let's get on to it. Lewis Hamilton, brilliant, fantastic drive. Max Verstappen, also a brilliant drive. I think he did everything that he could.
Whoa, let's start with turn 1. Yet again, Valtteri?
Max Verstappen
beats Lewis into turn 1. Do you think because Lewis has been so conditioned with Valtteri Bottas not making the move onto turn 1, he's now getting caught out a little bit?
Yeah, he's like going, no one usually fights me into turn 1. Oh, God, yeah, it's Max. Oh, yeah, sorry. Valtteri just concedes turn 1. He's like, I will get him later in the race. And then never comes. Then never comes.
Max just sends it. He sent it in Imola, pushed Lewis wide, and he sent it in Barcelona, pushed Lewis wide, made the move.
Yeah. Bottas is there to pick up what Hamilton leaves. That's his job. Yep. And he's doing that job at the moment. So you got to say on that basis, Bottas is having a great season.
Great season.
Only really Imola was the bad race so far.
Max is saving Bottas because Max is the title contender, so Bottas can just be like, "What? I don't have to do anything anymore."
Well, no, not me. Max and Lewis are in different league, and they make each other better. Absolutely. Hello, Ranga F1.
Hello.
Welcome. Right side had more grit from sport races, but well done on his part. Yes, Infinite. I mean, I know that's as good as Max is going to get as a compliment out of you. All right. But yeah, brilliant drives. Lewis, what a fantastic weekend. 100 pole positions, an amazing achievement, an amazing feat. And we'll come on to the strategy, but his level is just so high that chasing down 20 seconds in 20 laps,
you're skipping.
He makes it look easy.
You're not doing any storytelling.
No, well, I'm just saying he makes it. I'm just saying admire Lewis's brilliance before we get into questioning it.
Okay. So turn one, Max makes the move. Max goes flying off. Lewis sticks to him though, and even he sticks with him in the dirty air, and still has the better tire thing to force Max to pit early. Goes a bit longer.
Well, the safety car brought Lewis back into it. There was a 1.82 second gap at the start of the race. Max had got a little bit of an advantage early doors, and the safety car brought Lewis right back on. And that it probably would have happened anyway.
Yeah,
I agree, but it definitely didn't help Max Verstappen, the safety car.
Yeah, but it looked like after those first round of pit stops that Mercedes are screwed up. They given away track position for Lewis, and we're like, Max is going to cruise to the end. It's an easy one stop. Spain, it's boring. One stop, job done. Lewis then pits early. We've got Hungary 2019 all over again. And guess what? History repeated itself. I think the Red Bull go on the radio to Max saying it's Hungary 2019. So why do you do the same thing?
Okay.
Why do you do the same thing?
Okay, let me explain this. Let's explain this, because I tweeted, and it's my
Red Bull.
Yeah, it's my love-hate relationship.
Why do you do the same thing?
It's hot takes, but you can't really fully explain. So here's the thought. Okay, so Lewis goes deeper onto the set, so we have fresher mediums. He's sitting behind. He looks better pace on the mediums, but then the gap opens with Max and Lewis that he can pit into a window that he's only behind Bottas, with the expectation that Bottas will get out the way. Or at least he's on older tyres that when Bottas did try to kind of half fight it, it wasn't really much of a fight and could easily get past him anyway.
Yeah.
All right. So that's it. As soon as he pitted, like you said, I don't know why they didn't. So they didn't have used mediums like Hamilton, but they did have a fresh set of soft tyres, which, yes, the safety car would have prolonged the first stint that went onto it, but he would have had to do 24 laps on the softer compounds. But obviously you have better race pace than the medium, which might have made it easier to kind of maintain a gap against Lewis Hamilton. You don't know. We don't know these things. We're operating the unknowns, but it was a fresh set, so it didn't have the kind of out lap, qualifying lap, in lap that the U set does, or the kind of ones on qualifying. But Hamilton proved that you could go 4 laps deeper on that soft as well. And Kimi Räikkönen also went deep on those softs.
Kimi did like half the race distance on the softs.
The softs would have been difficult. Okay. They would have been difficult to make it last. And what I'm saying is, if they had pitted Max Verstappen at the same time as Lewis Hamilton, that I'm not trying to say that would have meant that Red Bull would have won the race. But like Stephen said, if it was the first time and they were like going, let's challenge Lewis Hamilton to do this 20 seconds. But what you're doing in that situation is you're gambling on Lewis Hamilton not being quick enough to catch you. Not going to lie, he's had a pretty long career where he's proved he's a very fast driver. So
it's the same race that he secures his 100th pole position.
Absolutely. He's going to be quick. And he was already quicker on the stints on the tyres anyway. What I'm saying is, if they pitted Red Bull, there for Max Verstappen on these, you put the race in your guys' hands. So you put your guys in your pit mechanic's hands to make a quick pit stop to make sure he gets out ahead and Lewis doesn't undercut him. And then you back Max Verstappen as a driver to make the tyres work and to get past Valtteri Bottas. I know people keep saying, well, Valtteri Bottas would have been there. Yes, but his tyres were a lap older than Max's anyway. And by the time they would have caught him, I think it would have been not an easy overtake, but it certainly would have added in more drama.
Yeah.
In terms of things, it would have gone. I just think if you're going to compete against Mercedes, and Mercedes are the absolute best in the business, let's not get about it. First two races, Red Bull were better. Second two races, Mercedes have clearly been better, and Mercedes capitalized on their advantage. And it doesn't matter people saying, well, Mercedes had the quicker car. Yeah, well, Red Bull had the quicker car in Bahrain, but Lewis Hamilton still managed to win that race. It was almost by not pitting, you almost threw in your towel and went, we'll take second.
Yeah.
We'll take second. It's not, we'll hope that, our tyres last. You accepted second at that point. And I just think you've got to back your driver, or you've at least got to do something different, even if the scenario is the same and you come out second in the race, because you would have overtaken Valtteri Bottas regardless. All right. Even if you come out second in that race, you have to try something, surely. You're going for a championship here. If you can beat Mercedes, Spain, that's a huge one because they're so strong at Spain.
Stronghold. Yeah.
It is so strong.
Lewis Hamilton's 6th win there. Or was it Mercedes' 6th win, Lewis's 5th win?
But it's these fine margins, and they're not big criticisms of Red Bull. It's so hard to be a championship winning side. But it's these small margins that Mercedes consistently get right. And Red Bull were unlucky that Lewis's mistake in Imola didn't cost him.
Yeah.
Because if the safety car doesn't come out at the perfect time...
Was the red flag that came out?
Yeah, well, the red flag that came out at the perfect time, it's very difficult to see Lewis Hamilton coming back and getting second in that race.
Yeah, from a lap down, yeah.
Yeah, So that's going to be a really tough scenario. So they've got unlucky there. But Bahrain, the way that obviously Max, little mistake in terms of choosing the wrong point to overtake Lewis Hamilton with Giovinazzi there as the lap car, and also the point where he gave back the kind of track position as well. It's just these little margins. The qualifying lap in Portimao, but I don't think that was too important. On that aspect. And, today he didn't get it wrong, but I just think that strategy, they've got to try something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why not back your guys rather than expect Lewis Hamilton to do something wrong, which is more unlikely to happen in my book.
As soon as Lewis pitted and Red Bull didn't react, you just kind of knew. You just kind of knew. Lewis is one of the greatest drivers in F1 history. 20 seconds is nothing for him to catch up in about 30 laps than you have, or 25, something like that. And Max's tyres were dead. They were dead then. They were gone when Lewis pitted. So why do you think they're going to last another 20 laps and still have race pace?
Absolutely. And Carol makes a good point here, which is an interesting one for, me. If he'd pitted, if Bottas and they conceded the race win to Bottas, concede the race win to Bottas. Yeah. He's not going to be in the championship, is he? If you finish ahead of Lewis Hamilton, that's your main thing. You've got to think of the best chance to kind of get your driver ahead of Lewis Hamilton. And I don't know. We're not privy to all the data. Their data might have been telling them there. They might have said that we wouldn't have been able to do this soft tyres. But I feel like they had 100% chance they were going to lose that race to Lewis Hamilton if they didn't pit. It's maybe 95 to 98% they're going to lose if they pit for the softs. But there's still that 5 to 2% that they might have won.
Yeah.
And you've got to take that risk.
It's a bit more than 5%.
It might have been. I don't know because Lewis was so quick out there. But it's something different. Mercedes wouldn't have expected that.
Yeah.
They would have expected Red Bull to stay out because Checo wasn't there.
Yeah.
And that's the one to go from there. I'm glad you're enjoying the chat, Johnny Boy. If anyone except Red Bull is putting much effort into anything but next year's car, they are nuts. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, everyone is putting everything into next year's car. Love seeing Christian Horner being mugged off. Hate the guy. No, wait, hate is a strong word. Despise is perfect. Yeah, I think that's fair. I think it's fair. But it seems weird. Like Red Bull are...
They're 4-time world champions.
Yeah.
And it just looked like in Catalonia, they were amateurs.
Yeah, like it was a bit like watching Racing Point, now obviously Aston Martin, last year.
Yeah.
Where they had positions to get Checo a podium when they were running well and made the wrong strategy.
They weren't used to having the quickest car, quickest of the midfield.
Absolutely.
So they made interesting strategy calls. Red Bull, they're bloody winners. They're race winners, multiple race time winners, 4-time world champions. And they didn't want to risk it. They just more of the same.
They played it safe. And I don't think you can play it safe if you're trying to beat Lewis Hamilton, because he's one of the greatest drivers of all time.
Yeah.
So if you're going to beat that guy, you're going to have to take a few risks and roll the dice and hope that it pays off. And I was a little bit frustrated when they said we tried everything today to beat them. It just didn't feel like they did. I think if they pitted, they would have tried everything.
That was trying everything, yeah.
But yeah, we'll see from there. To be honest, if Max had, this is from Carola, if Max hadn't taken the lead at the start, Hamilton would have gone off into distance and it would have been a pretty boring race. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that was credit to Max for putting himself in a position that he could potentially fight for a race win. Absolutely. But that's a credit. Everyone was expecting a boring race at Catalonia. It's a track that doesn't lend itself to the most exciting races, but it was an entertaining race. You know, it's not a classic. Absolutely not. And, you know, it's the first time Hungary was a better race because it was the first time you're like, oh my God, is Lewis going to make this?
Yeah.
Is he going to do 20 seconds? And I think, you know, he had slightly less time to do it actually in Hungary as well. He literally was putting like qualifying lap after qualifying lap in, you know, on that aspect. But it was still a good race, still a solid 7 out of 10. Okay, let's talk about. Do you want to talk about the crap Bottas did in terms of fighting Lewis and not going team position?
Absolutely.
Look, this is what I'm saying with Bottas. Hamilton is broken him mentally. He genuinely believes that he can be a world champion. So therefore, he's done with just letting there. And he said after the race, didn't he? He says, I'm here to race, not let people pass.
Yeah. I was cheering Valtteri on. I was like, go on, Valtteri. Valtteri was Max's rear gunner. It was great. It was fantastic. He was the Red Bull rear gunner in a Mercedes. It was like, this is what I do. I defend the person in first. If that's Max or if that's Lewis, I'm defending this. And he wasn't very successful, as always. Valtteri. I think he was one of the only people to get overtaken that wasn't into turn one.
Yeah.
Pretty embarrassing.
Yeah. And and Infinite, Team Mercedes, Team LH, if even he says, I've defended Bottas long enough, you know it's gone too far. You know it's gone too far. Scott, Red Bull owes much of what they are now to Adrian Newey. They were a joke prior to Newey Vettel years. Remember how hapless they were as Jaguar. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that is the reason why they have a car that can compete, but they now don't have the strategy. And that's really harsh. And people are obviously going to defend it. And like I said, I've never been a race strategist in F1. I don't see the data. And obviously we have the luxury of making these decisions and looking back. But in fairness, we were both sitting here watching it and we're like, they've got to pit Max immediately. But I know it's like a thing. They're seeing data. They're trying to calculate gaps. They're trying to see what Hamilton's sectors are on the way out. If they pitted Max there. And by the time they'd I think they dithered. I think they they took too long to make the decision, and then by the time they were like, maybe we could have pitted him, it was gone.
Yeah. It was over before they had a chance.
Yeah. So that was the only frustrating. And I think, look, it's far too early to say. There's so many races, and Red Bull can get stronger. Red Bull could come out and win at Monaco. I feel like it's going to be Lewis Hamilton, and obviously we'll get onto that in the preview next week.
Yeah, it looks like Mercedes are slightly quicker on the slow corners, which is Monaco.
Yeah. But traditionally, that always felt like it was Red Bull.
Yes.
So that's quite a funny one.
It's going to be all about qualifying. Well, it's not about turn one even in the race. It's all about qualifying. No. If Max can somehow pull pole position out the bag, then maybe they have a chance. But you could be looking at a scenario that we have 5 races in, quarter of the season basically done, and Mercedes are walking clear with 4 wins from 5, which is not a pretty picture for Red Bull.
No.
I feel like they really needed to nab a win in Portimao, Catalonia.
They either needed to, secure that Bahrain win at the start of the season when they had the edge, when they were strongest, or they needed to try and get the win at the Spanish GP, which is where they had the better chance over Portimao. I mean, Lewis was just gone in Portimao.
Yeah.
There was no chance in Portimao.
They needed
to sniff in Spain.
Mercedes stronghold, and they didn't quite do that. They're going to have more chances. Second half of the calendar, you could say traditionally suits Red Bull more, but tradition kind of goes out the window this year because it just Mercedes are in a full-on development battle. We don't normally see that. That's why Red Bull pick up at the end of the year, because they're normally the only ones developing a car at the end of the year.
Yeah, it's very, it's always quite easy to say Red Bull the king of development through the season. Well, Mercedes never have to, like you said, really do anything. So from there, the fact that Max has more race wins than Bottas, who was in the most dominant car this year, is quite telling about Bottas. Absolutely, Carola.
Yep.
Which cars do you think will be good in Monaco? Obviously, we'll focus this more in the preview, but I'm going to back Ferrari and Leclerc, Lewis Hamilton, and actually probably back Alpine to do a good job again. That's my gut feeling, but obviously we'll talk about that more
next week. Yeah,
next week. Is Monaco the same day as the Indy 500? No, it is the week after this year, but it is the same day as kind of bump day and the top 9 qualifying in Indy 500 as well. But yeah, no Indy 500 clashes.
I'm glad they didn't clash.
Yeah, which is good.
Because last year, obviously, they didn't clash. But the previous years, it's always been... Well, the Indy 500 has all immediately followed Monaco, but it kind of gets a bit blocked out, especially in Europe.
Absolutely. Monaco is the week before. Yeah, Scott. How did Merc make their cars quick in slow corners with a longer wheelbase? We were at the rear suspension last year. There you go. So what Sergio Randolph's just answered there from going, IndyCar is Scott Dixon's practice sessions. I don't know. There's been 4 different race winners in 4 races. Yes, Scott Dixon leads the championship, but that championship is a long way over yet. And you got the Indy GP coming up this weekend, and it's going to be interesting. I'd expect Penske to finally get the first win of the season. Yeah,
it hasn't been full on Dixon. He's only looked good at Texas round 1 for the win anyway.
My second race he looked pretty good as well, but overall, yeah.
No, it's St.
No. Second Texas race.
Oh, well, he wasn't on the podium, was he?
No, but he was still from there. Right. Anyway, regardless, that's for IndyCar.
IndyCar segue.
That is coming out on Wednesday. Will be our preview for the Indy GP this week. Monaco 80 laps and nothing. I mean, let's talk about this because Formula E, I actually caught some extended highlights of the race this weekend, and it was actually a very good race. There were some fantastic overtakes. There were battles for the lead throughout. There were some brilliant, overtakes at different points of the track as well. And it proves that and I always defensive of Monaco. A lot of people, Dan's here, calls picking up Formula E. Woo, Formula E! Antonio Felix da Costa, great race win for him. And Mitch Evans, it was kind of like a fight between it. And it was, I think, an overtake on the last lap. But I'm very defensive of Monaco because I think it is a fantastic circuit. It's a fantastic heritage of motorsports. And some fans, because F1 have made their cars too big and too large, kind of crap on the circuit and say that it's a rubbish circuit and, you know, it should be off the calendar.
I'd rather see cars go around Monaco than Catalonia.
Absolutely.
Overtaking chances, okay, slightly higher in Catalonia, but
absolutely. They just need to sort out these cars because Formula E proved with a, you know, slightly smaller car, a more robust car, which obviously hopefully the 2022 regs are going to make F1. Fingers crossed we can see great racing in Formula One again at Monaco, because what a track it is. Dixon definitely has a mediocre record in 500. Scott, stop trying to derail us to IndyCar. We'll see you on the preview on Wednesday.
Matthew D'Souza coming in. Good evening.
Hello, Manny. Nice to bring up that one.
It's too soon.
It's too soon, Matt. We're still hurting. Last lap was an unbelievable overtake. It really was. It was an epic last lap in Formula E. Definitely was. Heritage makes Monaco deserving of a place on the calendar, even though it's such a dead race. Yeah, absolutely. But it's only a dead race because these cars, F1 cars, are probably, I would say, these current F1 cars, technologically, are the most brilliant ones in F1 history. But in terms of racing cars, are the worst cars in F1 history.
The racing product isn't there, especially when you look at other series like Formula E, IndyCar, Super Formula. Formula One's way down there.
Yeah.
Even lower than its feeder series, F2, F3.
Yeah. And that's...
in terms of actual racing product.
Yeah. And that's what we're talking. Like we always say, F1's the pinnacle motorsport, the teams, the team battles, the politics, the technology. There's so much that makes F1 great. But I suppose traditionally, you know, F1 isn't the greatest racing product. It had a golden era between 2005 and 2012. You could maybe include 2013 in that, but it was a dominant year from Vettel. But, you know, that was the golden year, golden era of Formula One. And the cars since the turbo hybrid era have just been awful. Not to say that there hasn't been great races in that time, but the cars are dreadful.
Yeah, apart from two of them. The two cars of Mercedes, they've been pretty okay.
You forgot the speed. Well, I suppose so. But, you know, because Indy cars on ovals are technically faster than Formula One, or they go at higher speeds than what F1 cars go at, because there's no real braking. But, you know, F1s have a higher probably potential top speed, but they never reach that.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantasy team. I think Fantasy was all right this week.
I think I got 172, 171.
I don't even know what I got.
Lando cost me. Lando probably cost you.
Yeah, absolutely. Should have turboed Leclerc, but hey, we cursed the Lando turbo. Sorry, guys.
The review will be out tomorrow. Fancy review.
Yeah, it will be. It will be.
Yes, but I think we've kind of covered everything. If you've got any final thoughts of wisdom,
anyone wants us to kind of talk and discuss about anything.
Preach your word.
Preachy, the wordy. You have your time now. Obviously, we'll have the delay of when chat goes now. Scott, F1 is the pinnacle of automotive engineering, not competition. Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely agree with that point. Infinite Formula E is just RC cars on a bigger scale.
Yeah.
The sound is not brilliant. The sound is almost like you've gone to the dentist and you're getting a hole drilled.
Oh, Jesus. That's not a nice thing to think about.
Okay, it sounds like a hairdryer or whatever. Is that what Tomo described it as?
A hairdryer.
But the actual, if you mute it, the racing's good.
Poor commentators. But
Poor Dario Franchitti and is it Jack Nicholas?
Spanish review. Oh wait, okay. So you're giving us overall 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I think it's a 7 out of 10. It was a solid race. There were moments of intrigue throughout half the race. There was intrigue for a battle of the race.
The last third was dead for me, so I'm getting a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Driver of the day.
Toying between Lewis Hamilton and Charles Leclerc.
Okay. You're going to pick one?
Lewis Hamilton, because it was as he closes in on 100 race wins and he makes chasing down 20 seconds look easy.
Yeah. I'm going for Charles Leclerc there. This is my driver of the day. I think he just dominated in that Ferrari, in that midfield. And looked decent against Bottas.
Yeah, absolutely. Infinite was expecting me to trigger Formula E. Well, I'm not a big Formula E fan. I openly say for whatever reason it doesn't, suit for me. But I can appreciate what they're trying to do and the racing. And the racing at Monaco, what I caught of it, was very good this weekend. It was a very good race. One of my big issue is they usually have a lot of soulless racetracks. They look kind of very dead.
Yeah.
Like it looks grey, it looks bland, but Monaco can never be that. And they certainly put on a good show in that going from now. I wouldn't say Formula E is boring, Gianni. I would say misunderstood. Go from there. Scott Miller driving the day.
Misunderstood. Formula E is misunderstood.
Well, Dan was in chat from Racing Reviews. Obviously, he's the big Formula E man, so I'm sure you can catch his thoughts from the weekend. He will give a good rundown of events from there. But yeah, it looks like that is everything on our drivers of the day.
Yep.
I think we've covered everything.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything else.
Apart from it's Stephen's birthday tomorrow, so the chat has to wish Stephen happy birthday for tomorrow. Otherwise, Are you a true fan of F1 Fanatics?
Exactly. I'm going to cry.
I mean, now we do accept donations.
I do accept a minimum of $100 donation. It's compulsory.
Carola wants to shout out Max too for driver of the day. I think so. I think Max drove as good a race as he could, so he's definitely there.
He couldn't do anything more than thanks, Peter.
Cheers, Pete.
There we go. I got one.
You did. There you go. You get one. Sochi Autodrome has no soul. Yeah, that is pretty a soul-destroying track. That's what I mean. But every kind of Formula E track, quite a lot of them look like that. Oh, you got they're all coming in now, thick and fast. Not a fan, just passionate, Stephen. It's fair, David.
Thank you.
Bam. That's it then.
There we go.
That's it. Oh, Scott's in. Look, here we go. Right. How long have we wasted of these people's time? 52 minutes.
52 minutes.
Almost an hour.
Unbelievable.
10 thumbs up as well.
Katie.
10 thumbs up. Make sure we kind of like the video.
But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed another The F1 podcast episode reviewing the exciting events of the Spanish clinics.
Absolutely. And
Thanks,
talking fine margins. There is a title battle.
Yes. We'll be back next week to preview the even more exciting Monaco Grand Prix. We'll probably talk a lot about qualifying. And maybe there'll be something exciting in the race as well. I think it's still exciting a hell of a lot. Thanks, Gianni.
Exciting.
You just got to pump yourself up for it, okay? Because if the race doesn't deliver, at least you deliver. Woo! Let's go, Monaco.
You done?
There is an IndyCar race this weekend, though, if you do want to see some good racing.
Yep. At the Indy GP.
Yes. That's it from me.
Do expect a Team Penske win. Well, we'll talk more about that in the IndyCar podcast, the preview for the Indy GP coming out on Wednesday. But guys, you've been brilliant chat. As always, we do appreciate it. Brilliant. If you haven't already, give the video a thumbs up. It helps us in the algorithms, apparently.
It helps us help you.
And if you didn't like it, let us know too. Give us a thumbs down because they're all worth the same to us.
Yep.
in that aspect. And if you're new around here, you can subscribe.
You can like, subscribe, and ding that bell.
Ding it! So for now, UF1 fans, keep racing.